Hey, what's up, everybody? Notice anything different? Sold the records. It's been a few days. Been busy. That's one of the things that happened. Also, look at that. We're on the sidey and not up and downy this time. So you're welcome. And also, just because we're trying to class up the joint a little bit, I'm wearing pants. That's right. No Argyle flannel combination for you today. I need a haircut. Look at that. Getting all scruffy. Got hair coming out the sides. Alright. So, to that effect, I bought these. Off of eBay. Couldn't really see too well in the picture at how jank those blades are. Also, they had a picture with the guard. No guard came with them, so I'm going to be returning those. Don't do that on eBay. Alright, so we've been making some progress here. Heading down to the reseller cellar. I've been listing like crazy. And going to go over kind of a few things that I've been listing. So this is kind of like the opposite of a what sold video. It's more like a what's listed video, right? Okay, so that pile's gone. This pile's gotten a lot smaller. I've managed to move all of my tools into that closet there, so it's now a tool closet. My kitty litter box, which is currently over there, is going to be inhabiting that little nook down there here in the very near future. And then the kitties will have their little pooping corner in the basement, which is where it's going to be best. Alright, so, like I said, it's been kind of a busy, crazy few days. Probably listed over 120 items, I want to say. A big variety of stuff. That pile we just looked at, I don't really have room to bring it all the way upstairs, and I didn't want to do it. So, what I did, I need to get better at looking at this camera where you are. So, yeah, rather than moving it all the way upstairs, I figured get it listed. So most of the stuff here is what was in those bins, and want to just kind of show you real quick what I've been working on. This is the kind of stuff I like to source and pick and whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call this stuff Bolos because what are the odds you're actually going to find it? You're there. And, you know, you might see this stuff, you might not. And, you know, if you do, buy it, I guess. But Bolo is kind of a weird term. It implies that there's lots of this stuff out there and you should always be on the lookout for it. Honestly, learning the kinds of things that are desirable and collectible and quality are far more skills that you want to develop and hone versus having a list of things to just be on the lookout for. I mean, we could talk about Bolos all day, but I mean, there's collectors for all kinds of things, right? You know, we can talk about, you know, collectors are crazy for all kinds of stuff. Computer stuff, lighthouse stuff, Western stuff, horse stuff, Scandinavian stuff, radios, playing cards, planes, trains, automobiles, farm stuff, stickers, buttons, media. You get the idea. Who needs Bolos? There's stuff out there and all over the place, and there's a desirable collector's market for a lot of this stuff. So you can go out there and find it. You don't need a list from me. You just need to know, hey, this looks cool and interesting. I bet somebody else is going to think it's cool and interesting. And then all you got to do is do some pricing research, put it out there with a good description. Half of reselling is adding value to something. And you know what? Just by taking something out of a basement and bringing it to market, you are adding value to something. That simple. So let's go over a few of these things. Like I said, it's been kind of crazy busy. So, these here are some reel-to-reel tapes, pre-recorded. So kind of like your pre-recorded VHS stuff. You know, somebody made copies of records a while ago. So I just, you know, put these up, sell them as blanks. These are $69.99 for some BASF, 7 of them. I've got 3 lots that are similar to that. These came out of one of those bins in those pile, and these are both blueprints from 1933 and 1934 for U.S. Department of Agriculture boats. So these are boat blueprints. I have them up for about $25 a piece. I got a feeling they're going to sell pretty soon, and if they do, you might know about it. I'm going to move on to this here. This is a card shuffler. In the box, with instructions. This is from the 1950s. Believe it or not, these things sell. I put mine up for about 80 bucks. Free ship. Pretty sure it'll sell. So, here's what I'm talking about. What we're going to go over here, you're not going to believe some of the values I got for these things. These were found, for the most part, in a pile, in a basement, actually not too far from where I live, maybe a mile. And all in one pile, I paid 20 bucks for it. So, you know, that's a old textbook, calculus. Got a book on railroading, that's like 20 bucks. This is really cool. It's a local history item. This is the history of Shelton, Washington. This is the first edition of this thing from 1940. It's got the original envelope. It's got a letter from the Chamber of Commerce. Local item, I put this one up at 40 bucks. Now the real kind of bolos, if you will, that came out of this were, I've got a number of carriage and Western wear catalogs. Most of these are from the 60s. A lot of them are, you can see the pictures of saddles. They're really cool. You know, even I was surprised at some of the values and how quick some of this sold. A lot of this Western wear stuff sold in under 24 hours. Faster than I expected. I priced high. Most of this stuff doesn't come to market very often. This is from 1921. This is a G.S. Garcia catalog. It is, you can see that these are not photographs, they're etchings. $350 plus priority shipping. Some other cool things that were in that bin. We've got some Lufkin tools. This old rhymes of Western loggers. An old manual for the microscope. A couple of Coast Guard items. This is kind of cool. This is the Lifeboat and Able Seaman manual. I'm childless, so that probably isn't for me since I likely don't have an able seaman. Anyways, a manual. There's another one, Coast Guard, for the safe handling of inflammable liquids. This one sold in 24 hours. This is a Questar telescope manual, or actually advertising pamphlet. Look at that thing. That's so cool. Earthquake preparedness book from the Madison River Canyon. That's in Montana. Halloween themed Donald Duck Golden Book. This was all in the same bin. This sold right away. This is from the 1960s, a Visalia Stock and Saddle Company. I mean, if you see this stuff, you know, this should, look at those pictures. Cowboy stuff, Western stuff, come on. Look how cool that is. So I got a whole pile of this stuff. Probably in one bin, I had around 75 listings come out of it, around $3,500 in listing value. About 800 of it sold in under 24 hours. So, you know what? You can go and spend $5 on a $20 video game. I spent $20 on that pile, and the first item sold in under a minute. Like, I listed it, and I got a notice before I was done with the next listing that I was sold. So, ephemera stuff can do really well. Just, be on the lookout. You don't have to know either. If you can get it cheap, buy it and sort it out later. All right, so want to talk about unconventional listing a little bit. About a week ago, I was going to Goodwill to do a donation. And on the way, or while I was in line, and there was a line, there's always a line now for donations, the car in front of me had visibly like 30 boxes of records. And there was a bit of a line at the Goodwill. So I jumped out and I'm like, hey, rather than wait in line, I'll just take those records off your hands. Didn't even look at them, grabbed them all, brought them home. Most of them are junk. That's fine, they're free. But there were a few gems. I'm still going through the last about 100 of them. I kind of picked out the ones that I thought had the most potential. But in there, we got Johnny Horton. It's like a $10 record. This one's like an $8 one. Kind of cool. It's a Carnival record from 1985. Pretty interesting. And then there was this. This is a Elvis Presley, Loving You. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Hopefully you can. That is a Japanese issue record. Now, in better condition, this is a $1,200 or $1,300 record. In this condition, this is probably a $500 or $600 record. I have it listed a little high with a make offer on it. I put $700 on it. It's fairly rare. Most of the other listings are higher or auction. Mine's buy it now. I am pretty confident this is going to sell. Whatever it sells for, it's free, 100% profit. Why? Because I sourced this item out of the back of somebody's car in line for Goodwill. Not on Goodwill property, in a public parking lot, in a long line for Goodwill. This, nobody would have caught this. This would have gone either in the trash, where I have also found records at the Goodwill, or who knows. A few other gem items out of there. CB radio. Got a Milometer vintage tin. It's kind of cool, like 50s vibe tin. That's not big money. As you know, I do the postcards in my store, so I've been listing a bunch of them. Now with the changes to eBay and their listing fees, I used to have about a $10 threshold for items that I wanted to list because I didn't want to end up paying 10 cents a month for items for how long until they sell. Now that I don't have to worry about that, I can lower my threshold for collectible items and really long tail the crap out of some of this stuff. So I can, if it takes a year to sell an $8 item, that doesn't matter to me anymore. So 75,000 items, holy crap. I'll list anything now. So just some interesting postcards. Surprised baby. We've got a cool vintage Idaho decal. Some of this stuff is like 10, 15, 20 bucks. Look at this giant baby. Giant baby. Here's one. Dog with a camera. Here's a guy because his suit is just way too big for him. See if you can see that. There we go. Oh. And these children, they're like, what the hell is going on here? There's some very confused children. This was kind of cool. This is a flyer for war bonds. Here's another one. I don't even know where I got that. Sometimes I just buy a stack of paper and one or two things come out of it. This one's really cool. This is the interior of the States restaurant on Market and 4th in San Francisco, California. Currently, that is the location of either a Ross Dress for Less or a Old Navy. This one's cool. Already got an offer on it that I turned down. That is the Alaska Defense Command Bridge to Victory. I have it up, I think, for $65, somewhere in there. I've sold stuff from the Bridge to Victory before. It's not something to be on the lookout for. I just have run across it before and picked it up and sold it. So, and it sells quickly. I guarantee you the guy who bought that is probably, or the sent me the offer is probably the same guy who bought that stuff from me before. A few more things out of the same bin. Probably not out of the same sale, but they were in the same bin. This is some art material. This is an alpha color mixing medium varnish. Unused. Vintage art supplies do great. Here's a Bible from 1955. Great condition. I will sell salvation. I've only got about a minute left on my memory here. Controlled bubble paperweight. I sell a lot of paperweights. There's stuff you run across all the time and you can get very cheaply. So good stuff to find. I'm just going to keep going until this runs out. Vintage scissors. Probably around 20, 25 bucks a piece shipped. Here's a Diston manual for saws. Department of Geology gold in Washington. Another Western catalog. Look at that lady. Yeehaw! This is a little item that sold in a minute. Masonic Order of Demolay orientation manual. You probably can't see that. This is the fastest seller of the lot.